After the First World War, to save the nations from the scourge of future wars, League of Nations was established, but it failed. It was for the same purpose, after the Second World War, United Nations Organization was established. The leaders who took interest to establish this world organization were the British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, Stalin of Russia, and the President of the USA, F.D. Roosevelt. These leaders had assembled in a conference at Yalta during 1945 and decided to start the UNO. Accordingly, on the 24th day of October 1945, the UNO was inaugurated with its headquarters in New York City. There were only 51 states who enrolled themselves as members of UNO when it was started. India was one of them. Today, there are about 191 nations who are the members of UNO. Any nation can enroll as a member of this world organization. India, being a member, has upheld the goals of the organization. When we compare the economic system of a nation to a human body, agriculture and industry form its backbone and muscles, and transport and communication are its nervous system. In the human body, the intellectual functions take place through the nerves. Likewise, the economic progress takes place through transport and communication system. We find three types of transport system in India. The following chart tells us about the types of transport in India. Transport: land transport, roads, railways, tunnels and pipelines. Water transport: inland waterways, coastal waterways, ocean waterways. Air transport: national, international.
Cottage industries are also called household industries. They are carried on by craftsmen in their own houses with the help of family members and apprentices, persons who want to learn the craft. They are mainly concentrated in villages. Wood and stone carving, basket making, toy making, handloom, pottery, carpentry, rope making, smithy, painting, etc. are the examples of cottage industries. Some of these occupations are hereditary in nature. They produce goods mainly for the local market. Small-scale industries are organized on a small scale in a particular building or shed. They may use electric power. Example, instead of hand crushing of oil, electric crushers are used. They employ laborers. Modern techniques are also adopted to produce goods. Some of the examples of small-scale industries are chemicals, engineering goods, shoes, bicycles, radios, sewing machines, garments, soaps, electrical fans, etc.
India, since time immemorial, had trade links with Europe and countries in Asia, like China, Java and Sumatra. This trade was carried on both by land and sea routes. There was great demand for Indian products like cotton textiles, spices like pepper, cardamom, cloves and cinnamon, diamonds, silk, pearl and sandalwood. Horses, wines, coral and mercury were brought into India. The trade with Europe was carried through the land route passing through the city of Constantinople. The goods also reached Constantinople through sea routes from the Arabian Sea and the Red Sea. In 1453 AD, the Ottoman Turks occupied Constantinople, or the modern Istanbul. This resulted in two important developments. Firstly, it closed the land route between the east and the west, which necessitated the need to explore new sea routes to India, as Arabs controlled the old sea routes.
Features of a right circular cylinder. First, two plane surfaces which are circular in shape customize the cylinder. Second, the curved surface which join the plane surface is termed as lateral surface of the cylinder. Third, the two circular planes are parallel to each other and are also congruent to each other. Fourth, all the points on the lateral surface of the right circular cylinder are at equal distances from the axis. Fifth, radius of circular plane is also the radius of the cylinder. Cylinders are of two types. First, hollow cylinder, and second, solid cylinder. Hollow cylinder is formed by the lateral surface only. Example, pipe. A solid cylinder is the region bounded by two circular plane surfaces and also lateral surface. Example, garden roller. Surface area of a right circular cylinder. The surface area of right circular cylinder can be calculated in two modes. First, lateral surface area. Second, total surface area of a cylinder. A. Lateral or curved surface area of right circular cylinder. Consider the following cylinder with circular planes C1 and C2 and height h.
Experiment 6. Take small pieces of magnesium, zinc, iron and copper in separate test tubes. Add 10 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid to each of them. Observe the reactions that take place. Magnesium, zinc and iron react with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce hydrogen. Mg plus 2 HCl gives MgCl2 plus H2 liberated. Zn plus 2 HCl gives ZnCl2 plus H2 liberated. 2Fe plus 6 HCl gives 2 FeCl3 plus 3 H2 liberated. Metals usually react with hydrochloric acid, but there is difference in the reactivity. In the above reactions which appear to be similar, magnesium reacts readily compared to zinc and copper. Noble metals do not react with hydrochloric acid at all. The reactivity of magnesium is higher than that of zinc. Hence, it reacts with hydrochloric acid more vigorously. The reactivity of zinc is lower than that of magnesium. Hence, the reaction with zinc is slower. Iron takes more time to react with dilute hydrochloric acid as it has the lowest reactivity among the three.
4.1 AIDS, Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome. Historical background. It is believed that the AIDS existed from a long time but came to light only in the 1980s. AIDS is a condition in which the inbuilt defense system of the body completely breaks down in a gradual manner. Those who are affected by AIDS are unable to withstand pneumonia, diarrhea, tuberculosis and even common cold and ultimately die due to one or another of these infections. AIDS is identified as syndrome rather than any particular type of disease. Thus, AIDS patients several symptoms which occur together at the same time. AIDS was recognized for the first time in the United States in 1981. It was associated with two main diseases, namely pneumonia and skin cancer. Later, it was noticed among young homosexual men and drug addicts. The next group of AIDS patients included children and adults who received infected blood. These innocent people became victims of this dreadful disease. Even though scientists could recognize that AIDS was due to some infectious microbe, still it created panic among all nations since there was no known measure to check the further spread of this yet unidentified agent.
A schematic representation of a simple dynamo is shown in figure 1.3. A dynamo consists of a rectangular coil of insulated copper wire ABCD mounted between the poles N and S of a powerful magnet. The free ends of the copper wire are connected to two copper rings R1 and R2. Two carbon brushes B1 and B2 are touching the rings R1 and R2 respectively. These brushes are connected to load L in the external circuit. The coil along with the rings is called armature. When the armature is made to rotate, say in clockwise direction, the magnetic field linked with the coil changes.